ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणीं अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। पवित्रं चरितं यस्याः पवित्रं जीवनं तथा पवित्रतास्वरूपिण्यै तस्यै कुर्मो नमो नमः। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूर्यै सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे। ॐ सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते। So now this 1 hour we will try to just concentrate on Thakur or Sri Ram Krishna and what is that which we call obstacle to get into the fold of Sri Ram Krishna. Before proceeding, just last week we had finished Navaratri celebrations. 9 days and 10th day is the Vijayadashmi. 10 days of Mother Durga's worship. It is very necessary, even where in Devi Mahatmya 12th chapter, while explaining to Surata and Samadhi after their penances, Devi herself will tell, you see, there are 3 Navaratris in whole year. In 365 days, 3 times we get Navaratri. Out of that, the Sharan Navaratri, the Navaratri that we celebrate during Sharat Rutu, is Sharan Navaratri. This Sharan Navaratri is most auspicious among the 3. So, people who are able to chant Devi Mahatmya during these 9 days will get all the benefit from me, either glorification or all the things that one feels to have in this world, or if one needs mukti, she is ready to give, both here and hereafter. Not only the person who chant or read Devi Mahatma, but also to the persons who hear Devi Mahatma. Suppose one does not know Sanskrit, one is unable to chant Devi Mahatma. Devi Mahatma is nothing but Saptashati Parayanam. One does not know how to chant Saptashati Parayana, but if we can hear somebody chanting Saptashati Parayana during this Sharan Navaratri 9 days, he will get all the benefit. It is very much told by Devi herself in Devi Mahatmya. Even in the first chapter, while narrating Brahma to Yogamaya or Yoga Nidra, Brahma says, Jnaninam api chetamsi Devi Bhagavati hi sa. Jnaninam api chetamsi Bhagavati Devi hi sa. Sa is Strilinga, that's why sa Bhagavati Jnaninam api chetamsi. What does Brahma says? Even this Maya is nothing but the worship of Shakti. Shakti is so powerful in this world. Brahma says, Chaturmukha Brahma. He says, see, even she can delude the mind of a Gnani. Suppose somebody thinks that he has realized God. But if Yoga Maya or Yoga Nidra or that Shakti wants to test that Gnani, she can even delude this person called so-called Gnani. We can very well remember the case of Totapuri. Even though he had attained Nirvikalpa Samadhi, so to say, when he came in contact with Sri Ramakrishna, but the moment he wanted to commit suicide, thinking that he want to get rid of this body, thinking he has realized Brahman and he does not want this body, he wanted to cast off this body and went to Ganga. He traveled almost 1 kilometer crossing river Ganga, but he could not get enough water to drown himself, not a more than knee-deep water. That's why here Brahma says, Jnanapi chetamsi Devi Bhagavati hi sa. It is very important to take refuge under Shakti, especially during Sharan Navaratri. If we have forgotten somebody or not done, at least make a practice all these things at least next year. during all Navaratris to have some Parayana, or at least our Devi Stuti is also enough that we chant during our Durga Puja celebrations morning between 9 and 9:30. That half an hour chanting is also enough if somebody does not know how to chant full Devi Mahatmya. It is necessary, the worship of Shakti is necessary. So, one day, coming to today's our discussion, one day, I think in Bombay, in present Mumbai, Mahapurush Maharaj Swami Shivananda was sitting in his room. One Swami of our order came and saluted him and asked the question, very, very wonderful question. He says, Maharaj, we have heard that those who take refuge in Sri Ramakrishna, as Sri Ramakrishna puts it, those persons or devotees who have come to me, for them, this will be the last birth. ಯಾರು ನನ್ನ ಬಳಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೋ ಅವರದು ಇದೇ ಕಡೆ ಜನ್ಮ. Those who come to me will, for them, this will be the last birth. This we have heard, but have you heard Thakur saying this? Because Mahapurush Maharaj stayed, Swami Shivanji stayed with Thakur. Then this monk asked, Maharaj, have you heard Thakur directly telling those words? Then Mahapurush Maharaj said, yes, we have heard so, and even it has been written in his biography. Why you have that doubt? Then monk puts this second question. He says, how to understand this? Thakur has told that this will be the last birth for the people who come to Sri Ramakrishna. But what is the meaning of coming to Sri Ramakrishna? Okay, supposing that monk subjectively saying that I have become a monk in Ramakrishna order, I have come to Sri Ramakrishna. This is also possible. Devotees who come to Ramakrishna Mata, who take initiation, they are also who have come to Sri Ramakrishna, but they have not seen Sri Ramakrishna. People like us, we have come here. And third question, you are all the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna who stayed with Sri Ramakrishna. With him you enjoyed his company, realized God, and coming to Sri Ramakrishna applies to whom among these three categories? Does it apply to only direct disciples and the disciples, household disciples of Sri Ramakrishna who were with Sri Ramakrishna during his lifetime on this earth? Or does it apply to everybody who come to Sri Ramakrishna? Such a nice question, you see, because we don't have people to ask now. Where is Mahapurush Maharaj to ask? At least somebody has written reminiscences and kept for posterity to read, at least meditate on these concepts. So Mahapurush Maharaj says, it applies to all. It applies to us who were with Sri Ramakrishna. It applies to monks who have joined Ramakrishna order. It applies to devotees who have come to this fold. But monk says, but we do not feel every day meditate, so morning, evening, both times we meditate. We attend Aarti regularly. We have done pranams to all the Swamis, all the senior Swamis, all the vice president, all the monks. We have taken initiation and we are devotees. Some devotees are coming from past 30, 40, 50 years. But we don't feel it. That monk says this question, asks again, Maharaj, but we don't feel every day morning we meditate, but we don't feel it. We have not felt that this will be our last birth. Why? Because the moment we sit for meditation, all the unwanted thoughts are coming. It is groping in the mind. All Vyavahara is entering to our mind. Then how can I say that this will be the last birth? Then Mahapurush Maharaj makes wonderful remark. He says, see, Thakur has given the assurance that this will be the last birth. What is your part there is, two things are necessary. One is prapatti and then shraddha. You should have 100% self-surrender, 100% faith in the words of Thakur, then this will be your last birth. If you have an iota of doubt, and you have to come every birth here. This is, Mahapurush underlines this statement. Don't worry about what the present relative condition of your mind and society. Don't worry about it. What you have to worry is how to gain this bhakti or prapatti or shraddha through which you feel that this will be the last birth. If you don't have this faith and prapatti, you will never attain. The moment you have this prapatti and shraddha, this will be your last birth. Don't worry, Sri Ramakrishna will give whatever is necessary at the right time, but your condition is to develop faith and prapatti. Very, very important statement for serious seekers. Then, even in Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, one day, a Brahmo devotee, Sri Ramakrishna has gone to a Brahmo Samaj congregation. There he is sitting, a Brahmo devotee asks Thakur one question regarding this one only. Brahmo devotee says, Sir, suppose a man has thought of God at other times during his life, but at the time of his death forgets him. Him is H capital. Forgets him means forgets God. Would he on that account come back to this world of sorrow and suffering? Why should it be so? He certainly thought of God sometime during his life. What is his question is, suppose somebody has practiced meditation or tried to do japam or parana, etc. during his lifetime, but he is unable to think on God at the time of death. Will he come back, or that will be his last birth? Because it is necessary, whatever we may practice now, if we can't take the name of God at the time, at the hour of death, we have to come back. That is, our Shastra has proof for all these quotations. So, he is asking, he has taken the name of God at other times, but unable to do it at the hour of death. What will be his condition? Sri Ramakrishna says, a man thinks of God, no doubt, but he has no faith in him. That's why it is very important. A man thinks of God, no doubt, but he has no faith in him. Again and again he forgets God and becomes attached to the world. It is like giving the elephant a bath. Afterwards, he covers his body with mud and dirt again. The mind is a mad elephant, but if we can make the elephant go into the stable immediately after bathing him, then he stays clean. Just so, if a man thinks of God in the hour of death, then his mind becomes pure and it gets no more opportunity to become attached to woman and gold. Man has no faith in God. That is the reason he suffers so much. They say that when you plunge into the holy waters of the Ganges, your sins perch on a tree on the bank. No sooner do you come out of the water after the bath than the sins jump back on your shoulders. A man must prepare the way beforehand so that he may think of God in the hour of death. The way lies through constant practice. If a man practices meditation on God, he will remember God even on the last day of his life. Here, a man thinks of God, no doubt, but he has no faith in him. If we remember 24 hours of the day doing ajapa japa, but have no faith, it has no effect. So that's why if the sadhana or whatever little japa, parayana or God-oriented work that we are doing lacks faith, then it has no effect for us. Even if we can remember the famous story of Kumbh Mela, I think I have narrated once, it is better to remember here once more. When 3 years back, when I attended Mahakumbh Mela at Allahabad, I was there on Mauni Amase Day, where news report said more than 3.5 crore people took bath on a single day, 3 koti jana. So, seeing this, so many people coming on that holy occasion and taking a dip in Ganges or the Triveni Sangama or Ganga, and why we go during Kumbh Mela to take bath in Ganges or Triveni Sangama? The pratiti, the tradition is, one attains mukti, he cleanses himself of all the sins and attains mukti. That is the pratiti, tradition. Then Parvati asks Shiva, the Vadaya, the leader for all this Kumbh Mela is Shiva. So Parvati asks Shiva, see, so easily you are able to grant mukti to so many people just by taking bath. what will be condition of the Kali in Kali Yuga? Then Shiva says, don't worry, I will demonstrate one thing for you. Then Shiva came and sat on the banks of the Ganges in Haridwar. They say Harki Podi, where that Kumbh Mela is held in Haridwar. Harki Podi is the place where that Amrita fell. So he sat in that Harki Podi place, where even Ganga Aarti takes place in Haridwar every evening. Shiva came and sat there as a leper, Kushtarogi, leper. Then he was sitting, all the people were finishing bath in the Ganges during Kumbh Mela and coming on the banks and wearing their clothes, etc. Then this leper, Shiva in the form of leper, asked them, I have heard one saint is saying that anybody who has not done any sin, if he touches my body, my leper will go. Kushtarogi gunavaguttade. I will be freed of these lepers. Then nobody dared to touch that leper. Nobody touched him. Then Shiva tells to Parvati, you see, people may take bath, but they don't have faith that their sins are warded off. The moment you feel that you have taken bath in that Kumbh Mela and you are sinless and pure and immortal and infinite, that moment you are pure, infinite and immortal. Yes. If we lack faith, and hundreds of times if you go to Ganges and take bath every day and drink Ganges water also, this body and mind remains the same impure body and mind which was before. That's why Sri Ramakrishna says, even if one takes the name of God but lacks faith, he suffers in this world due to lack of faith. That's what Mahapurush was telling. Though Thakur has told the devotees who have come here, this will be the last birth. If we don't have faith and 10% property, we will attain nothing. Then, in another occasion, one more occasion, Sri Ramakrishna has come to Star Theatre. He has come to see the play on Prahalada written by Girish Chandra Ghosh. Sri Ramakrishna has come out of the play. He has seen the play. And now Girish Chandra Ghosh is not much interested in the theatrical activities. He is telling, I am not interested in work, etc. For that, he is praying to Thakur, Girish, please bless me, sir. Master, have faith in the Divine Mother and you will attain everything. Sri Ramakrishna telling to Girish, have faith in the Divine Mother and you will attain everything. Girish, but I am a sinner. Master, the wretch who constantly harps on sin becomes a sinner. Girish, sir, the very ground where I used to sit would become unholy. Master, how can you say that? Suppose a light is brought into the room that has been dark 1,000 years. Does it illumine the room little by little or all in a flash? Girish, here you observe Girish's statement, then you have blessed me. Sri Ramakrishna gives the example of bringing the light into the dark room where it gets illuminated the very moment the light has been brought. It does not take years to illumine. That very moment. Hearing these words, what Girish says, he says, then you have blessed me. Master, if you sincerely believe it. Sri Ramakrishna is also very particular. He says, if you sincerely believe it, what more shall I say? If we believe that this will be the last birth, as Mahapurush told or Thakur told, yes. That's why he says, if you sincerely believe it, what more shall I say? I eat and drink and chant the name of God. So wonderful. I eat and drink and chant the name of God. Girish, I have no sincerity. Please give it to me. Master, I. Sages like Narada and Shukadeva could have done that. Master, Girish, I don't see Narada and Shukadeva, but you are here before me. Master smiling. All right, you have faith. There concludes the conversation. Here, you see the faith even of Girish when Shardanji, Sharat Maharaj was writing the Leela Prasanga in Udbodhana as well. First as an article, then it was brought out as a book. That's why it is not in a chronological order. When he was writing the Leela Prasanga, for proofreading, he was going to Girish. In the Udbodhan is very near to Girish house. After writing the article, he used to go and sit and read. Sharat Maharaj, who was a direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, sitting before Girish Chandra Ghosh and narrating what he has read and saying, what Girish Dada, Girish Babu, tika che, sop tika che. Ki sop tika che, is it all right? What I have written, is it right? That was the Shraddha, because he said, all right, you have faith. If you feel that I am Shukadeva and Narada, I am Shukadeva and Narada. If you of 100 times of bath and meditation and japa feel that you are sinner, you will remain as a sinner. That's why when even in during that Belur Math was yet to be constructed, Vivekananda was staying in Nilambar Garden House. One day Girish Chandra Ghosh came there. I think even in Belur Math, I think. Swamiji was taking class on Rigveda to the brahmachari sitting there. Then Girish all of a sudden was sitting in front of Swamiji. Everybody, what they did, they were very much seriously hearing the commentary of Rigveda of Sayanacharya, narrated by, explained by Swami Vivekananda himself. They are so seriously hearing. Seeing Girish, Swamiji says, hey Girish, egulo sab padhte hobe tumi. You have to read all these things. Do you understand? Then Girish came forward, touched it to Rigveda and did pranams to Swamiji with folded hands and say, Naren, without reading all these things, by the infinite grace of Thakur, I have understood all these things. Without reading all these things, by the infinite grace of Thakur, I have understood all. What Vedas, Vedanta have explained, I have experienced it. Then, hearing, Swamiji got so much inspired. He brought all the decorations of Shiva and decorated Girish Chandra Ghosh with a ochre cloth used by Swamiji himself and decorated him as Shiva and all danced around Girish. After half an hour, Girish was in tears and says, you see, the grace of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, you are all 100% pure from the very birth. You are all Ishwar Koti. Narendra is Ishwar Koti. Brahmanda, Narendra, Purna. You are Premananda. You are all Ishwar Kotis. The grace of my Guru, Sri Ramakrishna, has put me today on the same pedestal with pure souls, though I am a born sinner. Because why that happened? Sri Ramakrishna says, if you believe, have faith in what I say, as with 100% prapatti, this moment we will have whatever we want, whatever Thakur has told. For that, you see, I will narrate one more incident from Sharat Maharaj's life and continue. One day, Sharat Maharaj was going to Belur Math, taking Dr. Kanjilal to do some small surgery on Swami Brahmananda. He was traveling by boat. Dr. Kanjilal was also sitting with him. Sharadanji was very busy with hubble bubble. He was smoking. Then suddenly there was a storm. The boat was supposed to be capsized. Both of them sitting there were supposed to drown and die. Immediately Dr. Kanjilal became very much upset and started shouting and came near Sharat Maharaj. He told, do something, do something. Sharat Maharaj was very seriously busy smoking. He did not see Kanjilal at all. Dr. Kanjilal was so much irritated, he took the tobacco bowl and threw it into Ganga. And then he was walking, pacing to and fro with so much afraid. He was so much afraid that this boat is going to be drowned. And the storm increased still more. Still more, this nervousness increased for Dr. Kanjilal. Again he came to Sharat Maharaj and told, what you fool, he told same word, what you fool, you don't think that you are going to die, or not perturbed, or not disturbed, or not nervous, you are going to die, do something. Then Sharat Maharaj did not look at him. He was simply smoking his hubble bubble. And then after seeing Kanjilal, he says, now he is showing his pipe. He says, so now you want to throw this pipe? He did not utter. He just said, you want to throw this pipe? What does it indicate? It indicates the strength of mind. Both Mundaka and Katha Upanishad, Nayamatma Balahinena Labhyaha by Mundaka. Nayamatma Pravachanena Na Bahuna Shrutena in Katha. What does it mean? Merely neither by reading, or suppose a devotee doing japa, merely by repeating, merely by studying, merely by hearing, nothing happens. It is only a man of strength will attain the Atman, as told by the Upanishad. Here, what Thakur has given is, you attain the strength through the yoga of prapatti or self-surrender. You just believe or have faith, 100% faith in what I say, and forget everything to me, or leave everything to me. Even once, the concept of doubt is so horrible for a man. One Swami Asheshananda, he goes to Holy Mother. He is a disciple of Holy Mother, Swami Asheshananda, who was in New York, American Ministry Centers. He worked there. After taking Diksha, initiation from Holy Mother, he came downstairs. Sharat Maharaj was sitting. Then he did Sashtanga Pranam, full prostration to Sharat Maharaj with lot of devotion, and got up. He was standing in front of Shardanji. Sharat Maharaj told, Ki eto bhalo kore, shraddha kore, pranam korle, ki darkar. You are doing so much devoted pranams, sashtang pranams to me. What is needed to you? What do you want? Then Asheshananda told, Mother has instructed me, gave me initiation. I expect you to give some more instructions. Then Sharat Maharaj looks at Asheshananda and says, you fool. You have taken mantra diksha from Divine Mother and still want me to give some more instructions. You are really a fool. You have taken mantra diksha from Sarvadevi Devi Sarupinye Sharada Devi Namaha. You have taken what you want, and says that is whatever Mother has told, that is the last word in spiritual realization. Whatever you have heard, that is the last word in spiritual realization. You do the name given by her and you will attain everything. Never ask anybody. This is the fight we should have. Otherwise, any amount, any ajapa japa, any amount of sitting meditation will not help much. It will do help, but it will not help much. That's why here we should remember all these things while sitting for meditation. At least 5-10 minutes have all this important, those incidents which we like most. You write it in a diary. Just see that one, remember those things, have holy thoughts, then sit for japa, which will give strength, and you will have the concept of immanence of God. Transcendence is true, we explained in Upanishad, but immanence andre sarva vyapakanada paramatma nan jotegi ellellu iddane. He is within me and he is without. This concept, if does not develop, it will not lead to prapatti and shraddha. That's why he says, whatever Mother has told, have faith. That is the last word in spiritual age. You may not understand now, but later in course of time, with this faith, definitely you will be able to understand. That's why Krishna says, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. What is Yoga Kshema? Yoga is to get what we don't have. Kshema, to preserve what we got. To get what we don't have is yoga. To preserve what we got is Kshema. Yoga Kshema means as a devotee, if you want to speak, we have got a guru, we got a mantra, we have seen some of the wonderful monks, Swami Vireshwaranji, Swami Ranganathanji Maharaj, Swami Bhuteshanji Maharaj, Swami Gambiranji, speaking subjectively. We have seen them, we have got mantra, we have got holy association, and then that is the yoga. To get kshema, have prapatti and faith. Otherwise, we lose this yoga also. To have kshema, to preserve what we got, we need faith and prapatti, 100%. never in our life, we should never disbelieve at any moment of life in whatever misery we may suffer in this world. That is inevitable. We cannot change this external world, but we can change the mind through faith and Shraddha and realize God and forget this world. That's why any amount of external misery should not disturb our inner faith, which we get through faith and Shraddha. I very much stress on this. Mahapurush Maharaj was sitting in Belur Math. Sharvanji comes and says, Maharaj, he asked about the health condition of Mahapurush Maharaj, who was a little bit ill during those times. Then he says, Sharvananda, you see, we lived with a man, so-called man, who was so short to look at, who was sleeping and eating like everybody. And all the people, the priest of the Kali temple, thought that he is a mere Bhattacharya, Chattopadhyaya Bhattacharya, a priest of Kali temple roaming here and there like a childlike simplicity. But he was not so as you think. He is something which cannot be explained. None of us have understood Sri Ramakrishna. Yet this word will understand Sri Ramakrishna in course of time. It takes lot of years to understand Sri Ramakrishna. But one thing I can tell you, whatever he places his hand on his chest and says, whatever is happening inside me, I cannot explain it to you. Even Charvanja was one of the Brahmanji's disciples. He says, whatever is happening here, which cannot be explained to you. Sri Ramakrishna is showing me so many things, which is the most secret. When Raja Maharaj Brahmanji were there, we used to discuss all these things. Now I have nobody to explain all these things, which will die with me. Even Swamiji has told. Well, then Niveta asked, what was the meaning to be understood when Thakur transferred his power to you during his last days? Swamiji says, in the master as I saw him, Kali entered this body, that is a secret, that secret will die with me. He says to Sister Niveta, Kali entered to this body, that is a secret, that will die with me. In the same sense, Mahapurush Maharaj says, you see, Thakur has shown so many things. We have not fathomed the depth of Sri Ramakrishna. But still, he has so what I pray for you people is faith, develop faith and Shraddha, so that you will attain something in this very life. This is my prayer to Sri Ramakrishna. But when Sharadanji was asked to speak on Sri Ramakrishna in Dhaka, he says, see, you are all asking me to speak on Sri Ramakrishna. But one thing I want to tell you, make it clear, the person who has got even a little bit of ego cannot understand Sri Ramakrishna. Sharadanji says, a person, even a bit of ego, cannot understand Sri Ramakrishna. That wonderful pure soul, even not a iota of lust and gold and hankering for any of things, such a pure soul, who can understand even a single wave of the Mother Kali and work as a mission. A small wave in the mind, Kali, we can understand as a Shakti, which is a cosmic point. He can read every wave in that cosmic point and act accordingly here in this, taking this mortal body. That was Sri Ramakrishna. To understand, you need this faith. Then he continues, Sharadanji says, you see, many people come to Sri Ramakrishna. What they have, they say, me and mine, and a concept of our attitude of shopkeeping. We need something from Sri Ramakrishna. We pray for us, but we don't want him. Here, giving example, Sharadanji says, during last days of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, when he was bedridden with throat cancer, many people who are associated with Sri Ramakrishna doubted Sri Ramakrishna and said, we thought he is a great saint, but he himself is suffering from cancer. And they said, we don't have any connection with a saint who is suffering from cancer. And they stayed away from Sri Ramakrishna, and only the Antaranga Balaga who served Sri Ramakrishna forgetting themselves, never asking him for anything. Even on Kalpaturu day, none of the direct disciples came and asked Sri Ramakrishna anything. Here, that's why these are all very important points we have to remember every day. Here, that's why the moment we have a concept of shopkeeping, we need something from Sri Ramakrishna, he stays away. We forget everything and just pray, what is needed you give me. You give me the Shraddha, you give me the Prapatti, and everything of mine is yours. I don't want anything. You give me, because very problematic with this concept of body and mind, we think we are very matured persons. Many times it happens. So the moment we practice some sadhana and attain something and have some little experience, what the mind thinks, we can attain many things through these paths only. No, it is not possible. Devi Bhagavati, Gnanapi Chetamsi Devi Bhagavati Hisa, that we have to always remember. Here, if we need from Sri Ramakrishna, that very moment we lose. That's why in Lalita Sahasranama, that day I was trying to explain, Bhanda Sarvadodhyukta Shakti Sena Samanvita. It comes in Lalita Sahasranama. What does it mean? Devi Lalita has killed the demon, or Rakshasa, or Asura, Bhandasura. Then where she went and stayed? She went and stayed on the Meru Parvata, top of Meru. Meru Parvata is a mountain, Meru Parvata. Then she went and stayed there. Why she stayed? Because Vishwakarma created a city called Sripura on the top of mountain of Meru. Then whom she killed? She killed Bhandasura. Bhandasura was staying in a city called Shonitapura. What does it mean, Shonitapura? The Shonitapura was fully covered by blood and flesh. The full city was covered by blood and flesh. Then this demon was very happy with that surrounding. Then Devi came, killed him, and established herself on the top of mountain Meru. This is the explanation we get in Lalita Sahasranama. But what is the meaning? That's why there are idol worship, Murti Puja, and then a Yantra Puja, and then a Mantra Puja. This comes under Yantra Puja, where we worship Sri. The Sri Lalita is nothing but the Divine Mother who is worshipped in the Yantra called Sri Yantra. As you worship Sudarshana Yantra for Vishnu, we worship the Lalita in the Sri Yantra. What does that indicate? It is a 49 triangle conceived of that Meru Parvata, which is like a tapered motion. On top of is that Bindu. Bindu is represented as the Devi herself. Even in Homa, we write on Bindu in center. After triangle, we put Bindu representing Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa as Shakti. So here also on top of Sri Chakra, there will be Bindu, which represents Sri or Sri Lalita. If we, to understand it, if we as Jivatman or as Atman, though being pure, eternally pure. What do you mean by eternally pure? Swamiji says, if you say that the nature of Atman is pure, at any moment of time, it cannot become impure. How can it become impure? It cannot be the nature. If you say the nature is pure, yet ever a moment, there is no actually relative speaking, there cannot be any moment. When you say absolute, you cannot bring a moment. But still speaking relatively, there cannot be impurity at any moment of life, because the nature of Atman is purity. But what happens being body and mind, we think, this Bandasura concept comes. What is Bandasura? We identify our ego not with the Atman, but we identify our ego with the flesh and blood. Bring the Shakti, break the bondage that Sri Ramakrishna did, cutting the image of Mother Kali and went to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. This is called association of ideas. You cut the association of the mind with this body called flesh and blood, and then bring the Sri, that Bindu, in the heart. And there she remains as Sri Lalita, giving all beauty. She is also called as Aparna. In Lalita, it's Aparna. Very nice. Aparna word has got wonderful meaning. Parna means leaf or leaves. Aparna, without leaf, means Parvati did lot of penance without taking. First, she started her penance with taking only leaves. She lived only on leaves and did lot of penance. But still she could not realize Lord Shiva or attain Lord Shiva. Then she left even eating the leaves. Then she became Aparna. Then she attained the Lord Shiva. But one commentator has given one more meaning which is very nice to at least contemplate. Aparuna, aparna. Aparuna means as a human being, the moment we born, we have the Pitruruna, Devuruna, Rushiruna. Body has been given by somebody, and we have a Pitruruna or Matruruna. We have a Devaruna, Vrishtyana, Vrishti, all this worldly prosperity given by the Devas. And we have a Guru, we have a Runa for that because he even given a path to God realization. But we cannot satisfy all these people or give back their Runa. It is impossible. So what we can do, we can meditate on God and become Aparana. How? Meditating on the Shakti, she will clear all this Runa. That is Aparuna. She will clear all this Runa. Just, it is the easiest path. Just hold on to Devi, meditate and do puja, and she will clear all this Devruna, Pitruna, Matruna, or Rushiruna. So that we don't have any Runa, not necessary to come back this word again. That's why this Aparana, so many wonderful meanings are there. Even it is very, very necessary. A small, simple faith that God exists is much, much beneficial. It is much more than simply doing a repetitive meditation of this Nam Japa. Even Shivrama, that cousin of Sri Ramakrishna, first Thakur did Kali Puja, next came Hriday Rama, next came Ram Lala, next came Shivrama. Shivrama was meditating there in Kali, but when he came as a priest to Mother Temple, he didn't know anything regarding puja. How to do puja, what are the rituals that are involved in doing puja, nothing he knew. But what he did, he knew that Sri Ramakrishna has invoked Shakti here, he has awakened Mother Kali, she is existing here, and then before sitting for puja, he intensely, Shivrama is a householder, intensely prayed to Mother Kali and said, I am sitting for puja, it is you who want to guide me. Then he started doing puja, sat, then he heard a voice, do Achamana, Keshvaya Swaha Nana, Swaha Madhvaya, Swaha Govindan. Here we say Vishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu. There is a little difference in Vedic and the Tantric puja. Then every step, now you do Achamana. Then he hears, now you do Shuddhi of the items that you are doing. Now you do Mantra Shuddhi. Now do you Vastu Shuddhi. Now you do Papa Purusha Parihara. Now you meditate on the divinity. Now you do the Shodasha Puja. Now you do the Puja of Kali. Now you do the Navadurga Puja. Everything Kali is sitting beside him and directing Shivrama to do puja in Dakshineshwar. He narrates this incident to Mahapurush Swami Shivanji. Shivanji says, yes, Shivram, now do you have faith? Yes, I have enough experiences in my life that I can very well say Thakur has installed Mother Kali and she is, I could not see her, but every day I hear her voice and she directs me every day how to do puja. Even before going to sleep, he used to tell to Mother Kali and say, those days no mobile, no electronic gadgets to have a alarm and get up at 3:30 fixing a alarm. No alarm business. Then Shivram, what he used to do before going to sleep, he used to tell to mother, it is your responsibility to woke me up at exactly 3:30 because 4 o'clock has to be performed. He told at exactly you wake me up at 3:30 and it is your responsibility. If you do it, I will come and do Aarti. Otherwise I will sleep. Then 3:30 Mother Kali and you come and tell, hey Shivrama, it is 3:30, please get up, do Aarti to me. Mother Kali used to come to Shivrama. These incidents he shares, he had a simple faith, no confusion, nothing. Yes, Mother Kali is here, Thakur has established her here and he has awakened the Shakti here and I take refuge in her and do all the activities. She has come. That's why Sri Ramakrishna says, though Thakur has told for the devotees, this will be the last birth who have come here, if we lack faith and prapatti, that cannot happen. That's why Mahapurush says, if you have 100% prapatti and faith, this will be your last birth. Even, under just 10 minutes is there, okay. One famous incident is there, which I like very much. in Sharadanji, Swami Sharadanji. Atma Prakashanji was a great revolutionary. Nikhilanji, Atma Prakashanji, Prabhavanji, they were all revolutionaries. Even Nikhilanji stayed in 2 years in concentration camp because he was involved in revolutionary movement, putting bombs everywhere and then doing such activities. British caught him and sent him to Swami Nikhilanji, who translated the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. He stayed 2 years in a concentration camp. Then after he got released, he joined Ramakrishna order. Like, with him was Swami Atma Prakashanji, who stayed in Udbodhan with Swami Sharadanji. When he came to Udbodhan, this British government came and took Sharadanji to the police station. They wanted an inquiry from Sharadanji because he has kept this Atma Prakashanji, who was a revolutionary. They had lot of doubt on Atma Prakashanji. So, they, along with Atma Prakashanji, they took both of them to the station. This police officer was not an Indian. Though Indian, many people don't have reverence for any monk. So, this police officer was sitting and very rudely he was dealing with Swami Sharadanji. And Sharadanji, with wonderful composure, not a single line on his face got disturbed. He was explaining, and at the final moment he said, I have full faith in this boy. He is a very pure person. I take all the responsibility. Hereafter, he will never involve in any of the political activities. He took it in writing and came out. Then Atma Prakashanji was very much depressed because that officer did not even offer a chair for Sharadanji to sit. He was doing all the inquiry, making Sharadanji quite old, very much fat also. He was making him stand and inquiring. So he said, because of my sake, these people, you have to first of all come to police station because of me. And after that, you have to hear all these abuses because of me. I really apologize for all these things. Please excuse me, Maharaj. Then Sharadanji says, you should not worry about all these things. One thing I tell you, the moment I came to Sri Ramakrishna, I have offered this body, mind and soul at the feet of Lord, where there is neither good nor bad, nor honor or dishonor. This honor, dishonor belongs to this world, but not to me, because this body, mind and soul has been offered at the feet of Lord. If you don't remember these things, we will not never, we may meditate 24 hours, but will not get strength of mind. Nayam atma balahine labhya. So, that's why these are all which I like. We should make a note in a diary if somebody wants it, really wants it. Then, just have a glimpse and then sit for japa, which gives wonderful strength. Concluding, under 5 minutes, I'll just conclude. Even apart from all these things, if you go to some of the saints of Maharashtra, Janabai, or Janibai, Janabai, they call, there are 4 main great saints from Maharashtra: Janabai, Satysakubai, Jijabai, and Kanopatra. These are the 4 female saints who are very famous in Maharashtra. So this Janabai, you see, she is a small girl at the age of 5. Her father and mother came for Ekadashi, Varkhari. They came to Pandharpura, did darshan of Pandrapura Vithala, Pandharpura and Rukumai. Then, going back to their village, this Janabai says, I don't want to come back to village. She is 5 years old girl, very such a small girl. And then this father and mother says, Arey, what will you do here? Who will take care? She says, I feel I should stay here, never come to my home again. Then they thought, they left her there in the temple, thinking that Pandharpura will take care of her, and then they left. She is a small 5-year girl. Then she was simply sitting in the temple, seeing Pandharpura. Then that very moment, Namdeva came to the temple and saw this Jijabai. He saw and could understand, fathom the depth of spirituality in her, and took this Jija to his house. And he says, Jija, you stay in my house. You do little odd jobs here. I'll feed you. But you have to do some work here, take care of my mother and my wife, and help my wife in all the odd jobs of my house. So this Jija used to help this now wife and mother doing odd jobs. But Namdeva instructed her, the important point is this, Namdeva instructed her, you see, you do all the jobs in the day, but what you have to do is, always you try to take the name of Panduranga. You have to remember Panduranga every month, whatever work you may do, but remember Panduranga all the time. You see, if we grow to certain age, lot of doubts and lot of obstacles, this saralata will not be there as we grow in age. She is a small girl. She has heard from Namdeva. She took it exactly. Nothing, no confusion. Very simple girl. Then what she used to do whole day work, and night she used to sit and do japa of Panduranga. One night it was raining dogs and cats, they say it, in torrential rain, it's an idiom, dogs and cats. Then she is sitting and doing japa. Namdeva was sleeping inside. Namdeva was a very simple man, not having much money. Whole his house was pouring water inside the house. Then Panduranga could not sit quiet. He came, sat on the top of the roof and repairing the tiles of Namdeva. Jijabai is doing japa, and she sees Panduranga repairing the tiles. And then after repairing, she is a small girl, you see. She goes inside, boils hot water, keeps ready a hot water, and after Panduranga finishes his work, she calls Panduranga, come here. Then says, all your body and hands have become very dirty. You take a bath, I have prepared hot water for you. He is very inspiring, you see. Then he goes and takes bath. After coming out, he took the dress of Jijabai and went away, because it's already morning 4 o'clock. Morning 4 o'clock he is to be in Vithala Mandira. He has to go there. He took Jija's dress and went away, and his Pitambara is lying on the cart of this Jijabai. Then there are so many things happened, and then they mistook that she has done a theft, and they took her even to a guillotine, a big blade where people are cut. Then even when Jija was brought, even the blade got melted. It could not kill her. When Jija was singing the abhangs, this Panduranga used to take dictation. He used to write the abhangs. Then once Gnandeva comes and sees Panduranga writing the abhang of Jija and says, Jija is an illiterate girl. What she can sing abhang? Then says, no, I am not interested in our language or literature. I am very much attracted by her simple devotion. There are so many stories. That's why here when Thakur says, he has given the statement, the devotees who come to me, for them, this will be the last birth, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyam. Then Mahapurushma says, it applies to monks, it applies to direct disciples who stayed with Sri Ramakrishna, and it applies to all the devotees who are going to come in the future. But only two things are necessary. One thing is self-surrender, and another thing is prapatti. If we don't have, even in spite of meditation, it will be not our last, or forget our birth, we cannot attain devotion or prapatti, through which miseries are unavoidable on this earth. But if we try to develop some of these aspects, we can very well pass all the obstacles, like Sharatma sitting with a pipe, not to be perturbed by anything of this world, having the strength, Nayamatma Balahine Labhya. Let Thakur bless in this very life with all this aspect to enjoy this life, forgetting all other aspects of this world. Is with this prayer I conclude. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.